Hi folks, welcome back to more with Talking with Liliana.
Yes? Something you need?
I'd like to talk to you about something. Again.
Yes? What's on your mind?
You have any more tales?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
So there was another story I wanted to hear.
Which one?
Do you know anything about the Dalish?
I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the Dales in the south and settled there in the land of their own.
Yeah, it didn't last.
The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
What do you know about Andraste? Even though I saw the urn and had all those ghosts to talk to about it.
Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker.
Let's just move on now. Okay, much talking there. Next stop, we need to go to the keep. So I got a couple items I need to pick up there before we continue. And just for giggles, we'll bring both of those two along. And the gold. Soldier's Peak. And do we get interrupted on the way? Not looking like it. Hey, it looks like we made it just fine. So, I'll be right back in 1 second when I pick up the items out of the chest. Okay, back to camp for more talking.
I lied to you, you know, about why I left Orlais.
I knew you weren't telling me something.
I didn't feel like talking about it then. What happened to me? Maybe it will affect us, maybe not, but you should know. I came to Ferelden and the Chantry because I was being hunted in Orlais.
Hunted? What for?
I was framed, betrayed by someone I thought I knew and could trust. Marjolaine. She was my mentor and friend. She taught me the bardic arts, how to enchant with words and song, to carry myself like a highborn lady, to blend in as a servant. The skills I learned, I used to serve her, my bard master, because I loved her, and because I enjoyed what I did.
So, how did she betray you?
You can say it was my fault. There was a man I was sent to
Okay,
kill.
I can say it
I
was
was
your
to
fault
bring
then.
Marjolaine everything he carried. I don't know who this man was. She gave me a name and a description, and I hunted him down. I found documents on his body, sealed documents.
You opened them, didn't you?
My curiosity got the better of me. Something told me that I needed to know what was in those letters. Marjolaine had been selling all kinds of information about Orlais to other countries, Nevara and Antiva among others. It was treason.
Isn't that what bards do?
Some. But I had always assumed Marjolaine only operated within Orlais. This was an unhappy surprise for me. My life as bard taught me that my loyalties should be kept fluid. My concern was not that she was a traitor, but that her life would be in danger if she was caught. Orlais has been at war with so many countries. It takes a harsh view of such things, as I later discovered.
Most countries don't appreciate treason.
I should have left
Go
well
figure.
alone, but I didn't. I had to tell Marjolaine I feared for her life. She brushed aside my concern. She admitted her guilt, but said it was in the past. That is why the documents had to be destroyed, she said. I believed her. I kept believing up till the moment they showed me the documents, altered by her hand, to make me look the traitor.
What happened then?
The Orlesian guards, they captured me. Did terrible things to make me confess and reveal my conspirators. It was a traitor's punishment I endured. And at the end of it, all that awaited me was eternity in an unmarked grave.
And you never sought revenge on Marjolaine for this?
No. Survival was my only concern at the time. The skills
I'll have to
Marjolaine
fix
taught
that.
me were good for something at least. I broke free when I saw the opportunity. I did not seek Marjolaine out. If she thought I was coming for her, she would have me caught again.
And so you came to Ferelden, to Lothering.
I was tempted to confront her. I was furious, betrayed. But what could I do against her? And so I fled to Ferelden, to the Chantry and the Maker. Ferelden protected my person, and the Maker saved my soul. And that is the reason I am here. The real reason. No more lies between us, at least in this.
Your past is going to catch up to you eventually.
I do not think so. I have not seen a shadow of an Orlesian since I came to Ferelden. It feels good to have this off my chest. Thank you for listening and understanding.
Okay.
Yes? Something you need?
Not yet. Just 1 second, folks. Take care of something real quick. Okay. Brief intermission for me taken out of the way. Let's continue.
I enjoy the nights at camp. The night always seems more peaceful to me, safer.
I know what you mean.
I feel the night grants us a reprieve from the troubles of the day. Silly, isn't it? The darkspawn never sleep, and they lurk in the shadows.
It is not silly to seek moments to lay down your burdens.
I enjoy those nights when we stand guard together, talking to pass the time in those small hours. Well, I talk and you listen mostly. Sometimes I succumb and fall asleep and wake to find you still watchful. And I know you're watching out for me.
You never have to feel afraid with me.
What I'm trying to say is that I trust you. I'm comfortable around you. I know you'll be there when I need you. You are our leader and my friend, and sometimes I think that maybe we could be more than that. Maker, look at me stumbling over my words like an ill-educated peasant girl. Some bard I am.
We are more than friends. I thought that was obvious.
Really? No one told me. You felt the same way and didn't do me the courtesy of informing me? You made me say all those things. Why couldn't you have said them first? Oh, oh, how very awkward.
That's me. I'm a terrible person.
Oh, chivalry is so dead, making the lady spill her guts like that. Well, that settles it then.
Indeed. However, you still have a couple things to talk about, don't you?
The stars are out.
Of course you do. Yeah, for once, a clear night.
It comforts me to know that the stars will remain untouched by the blight. That whatever happens down here, they will shine eternally. Their light undimmed. There is a story about that cluster of stars over there. Do you know it? Elindra and her soldier?
I can't say I've heard it.
A long time ago, there lived a fair maiden called Elindra. She had many suitors, but spurned them all, for she did not love them. One day, Elindra was sitting by her window in her father's castle, singing and dreaming, when her lovely voice caught the attention of a young soldier. Entranced by her song, the soldier drew near to Elindra's window. As their eyes met, he fell in love with her, and she with him. When Elindra told her father about the man she had chosen, he was furious, for Elindra was high-born, but her love nothing more than a common soldier. To keep them apart, he had Elindra imprisoned in the highest tower of his castle, and sent her soldier to the wars. Alas, not a month had passed before news of the soldier's death reached Elindra. Alone in her tower, Elindra wept for her love, and beseeched the gods to deliver her from this cruel world.
Yeah.
So earnest was her plea that the gods themselves were moved. They gathered Elindra into their arms and lifted her high into the heavens, where she became a star.
Yeah.
The gods also raised up the soul of Elindra's soldier love, and there he dwells, across the horizon from her. The band of stars between them is a river of Elindra's tears, cried for her lost love. They say that when Elindra has cried enough, she will be able to cross the river to be reunited with her soldier.
Well, I'll never look at the stars the same way again.
This story is one of my favorites. A tale of a love so great and so enduring that it defies death and moves the gods to action. Sometimes I ask myself, does such a love exist? Can it exist?
Well, if we lose hope in love, then we are truly lost.
I never expected you to say that. It is a pleasant surprise.
Don't tell the others I said that.
Of course not. It will be our secret. I have to say there is a certain severity to you. Finding a person behind that all is nice. Maybe you should let your softer side show more often. Sometimes following your heart, not your head, leads you to remarkable places.
And I bet there's more talking you want to do, isn't there?
You've seen and touched Andras's ashes. They are the holiest thing on this earth, the remains of the Maker's chosen.
It is quite remarkable, yes.
I do not know if I am worthy to look upon her.
Andraste fought for everyone. She belongs to us all.
Yes, of course, but it still is something to be in awe of.
Okay. I believe that's the
I'm here
last.
for you.
Yes, okay, good. Nah, nothing, never mind. Now, let's go have a little talk with Morrigan.
It's cold in my tent, all alone.
And by talk, I mean sex. Well, we can't have that.
So you shall come to my tent? But whatever shall we do in that tiny little space together while we wait for it to warm?
I'm sure I'll think of something.
Good. Then let us waste no more time with foolish talk. see the stories they tell of Grey Warden endurance are not exaggerated.
Oh, they're stories.
Indeed there are. The unanswered question, of course, is whether the endurance exists because of the taint within you, or because the Grey Wardens are by nature so very healthy. I enjoy the thought that 'tis a little of both. Natural prowess, driven by a darker side.
So what now?
That is entirely up to you. Simply know that I have no designs on your independence. I wish only to do what I desire, and if that coincides with what you desire, then so be it. And should you decide not to continue our misadventure, then so be it. Very simple, is it not?
I can live with that.
Then we should get along marvelously. Come then, let us be off before the others begin to stare.
And Dwarf has attained Lovin. But he's not satisfied yet. We will continue this next time. See you then.